Porch. It's just a great day to be alive. Are we live?
Yeah, that's what usually happens. What you just heard is what usually happens.
It is a great day to be alive. Welcome into the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue. This is the Sportsocracy. We have David Smith of Armchair Commentary, and once again, it's fantasy time, baby. It is our first show of the season. Down here at the Village Porch, we'll be hanging out every Sunday afternoon, watching all of the games on the lovely televisions. They have some of the most awesome bar food in the city of Asheville. The burgers are fantastic. The mango, what are they? Habanero mango chicken wings are my go-to, and the cauliflower wings are a close.
Or buffalo cauliflower wings.
Close second. Close second. We're going to be here all year long, and it's time to get into your fantasy questions, because I am so glad to see that even though we are the usual, 20, dear God, in stream, and that's never a good sign. Are we live, or did you break something? What is happening here?
There we go.
Are we on? Is it all good? Can you hear us now?
I can hear you because it's running through my ear.
Okay, I have no idea. Your screen something crashed in the floor and the screen went blank, and I have no idea what's going on. All right, so David Smith of Armchair Commentary. While Jeremy's still trying to click all the buttons, make sure that we are on live. What is your overall first take here for week one?
I hate cameras, and I hate all of the things that it takes to set up lives, but we love all of you, so here we are. Okay,
well,
so we can't hear Armchair on the stream.
Nobody can hear Armchair on the stream. Well, this is awesome.
I don't know.
It's so awesome.
I don't know how that's even possible.
All right, well, let's you keep clicking some buttons here.
Yeah, you two, talk, because
I guess I will
know
just
that they can hear you. And
I will just talk here. All right, so while we're trying to figure out that little kerfuffle, I'll go through the chat here and see if we got some fantasy questions. And I guess I will ask the questions, you answer, and we will go about it in that fashion. Yes, everybody hit the like button. Share it out with your friends as well. And let's see, we got Saints football today, baby. I'm ready for fireballs. And Colin Greene says you better catch up.
Colin Greene says I better catch up.
He's already got 4 fireballs in.
Let's go. I had 2 when I woke up at 7:30 this morning.
Oh my God! How can you start your day that way? How do you start your day that way?
How do I start my day that way?
And still live?
Because I'm a warrior.
Jeez, do you get you probably get the shakes too, don't you?
No, I don't, never have, not one time.
Fire your fantasy questions in the chat here, and we will get to them overall. My big question going into today is, are we believing this latest news that Darren Waller is going to play tonight? That's my biggest kerfuffle. Hey, chimes in my ear. I like that. Darren Waller, you think is he gonna go?
I would say Darren Waller plays, but I wouldn't trust it this week. I wouldn't trust him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the last tight end. So if you go with Darren Waller, there's a great chance you're going to get 5 points out of him anyway. And then if he doesn't play, you're stuck with Tyler Conklin or Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the ceiling is so high with him, because I feel like he'll be the number 1 target for Daniel Jones. And if he does play, that team's going to move the ball. That team's going to get in the red zone. They'll be able to score, right?
He held up a Post-it note that said Waller plays.
Waller plays. I like it.
Big said you're echoing like crazy and sound like the grandfather from the Up movie.
Ooh, I like that.
You look like the grandfather from the Up movie, if I was being really honest.
Why are you so mean to me all the time? Jimbo Fisher, your great friend Jimbo Fisher.
He made me a lot of money yesterday, so I love Jimbo Fisher a lot right now.
He wants us to pick two: DJ Moore, Jahan Dotson, Drake London, or is that Deontay Johnson in a PPR?
DJ Moore and Jahan Dotson.
Okay. Why not Deontay Johnson?
I feel like there's too many mouths to feed in that Pittsburgh offense until I see it. Once I see it, it's okay.
Okay. I just keep getting to that. I keep getting to that matchup, San Francisco and Pittsburgh, and going, what did he say?
Dotson and Moore.
All right.
We're going to keep Armchair on the screen.
Just so he
even if we have to do this like hooked on phonics style, we will.
I can still hear him.
Well, here's the thing. You play translator and just relate what he's saying.
The joys of doing things live. I love it. I love it so much.
We have a fix to this coming for next week.
We hope. DJ Moore, Jahan Dotson is the answer from these two gentlemen. I just keep looking at Pittsburgh and going, somebody's going to eat. It's going to be Patrick. It's going to be Pat Freiermuth, or George Pickens, or Deontay Johnson. I just don't know who it's going to be.
My bet would be George Pickens, because San Francisco doesn't really have a corner that can deal with him.
Let's see here. Should I keep Zay Flowers in my flex spot, or should it be Evan Ingram? That's from Joshua Brooks.
Evan Ingram. And I don't really know that it's all that close. Evan Ingram's one of my favorite tight end plays of the day.
Okay.
This is a horrifically bad week for tight ends.
Well, I mean it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Travis Kelce obviously didn't play on Thursday.
Darren Waller
there will be no Mark Andrews.
No Mark Andrews. You may not get George Kittle. Evan Ingram may be the top tight end of the day.
He could be. It's either going to be him or, and if he plays, Darren Waller. So Evan Ingram over Zay Flowers. Jekyll disagrees. He's going Zay. Christopher Hubbard said Ingram is going to be targeted more, so he is on that side as well. Chauncey Major says all the Ravens have to do is give the ball to C.J. Stroud. That's the best defense today.
No doubt. C.J. Stroud will be your best friend today. I guarantee it.
Danny Fensfan throwing out his 12-team PPR starting lineup. Trevor Lawrence, Najee Harris, Khalil Herbert, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore. He had Noah Gray, which, did that work? Noah Gray got what, like 6 points?
Yeah, something
7
like that.
points, something like that.
It's more than you're going to get from most tight ends today. So.
The Titans defense, and he's got a question about the flex. Does he go Cortland Sutton or Jahan Dotson?
Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson.
I'm really big on Jahan Dotson. Armchair's nodding, and I think he's going back to the notepad.
Yes, he is. I'm
going to put him back in my ear and see if I can get him on the stream somehow.
Yes.
I'm very lost how it's going to you and not to the thing you're plugged into.
Yeah, I don't know why that would be either. But we shall proceed forward here.
He said Jahan Dotson sneaky must play.
Yes. Joshua Penix. He wants to know who to put in his flex. Is it Dameon Pierce, Javonte Williams, or Aaron Jones? I got this feeling about Aaron Jones today. Am I crazy to think that with no receivers, Aaron Jones is going to get a lot of the targets from Jordan Love?
I like Aaron Jones. I really like Jaden Reed and Luke Musgrave today. Somebody is going to have a good day for Green Bay. We just got to figure out who it is.
I would imagine it would be Aaron Jones. Although it's one of those things that I always think like this lays out.
Too.
Yeah.
They're going to be behind. So somebody's going to catch passes.
Green Bay will
run the damn ball.
That's right. A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones eat against the Chicago Bears defense.
I like Aaron Jones. If you're playing in DFS, I think you could do worse than Luke Musgrave and Jaden Reed.
Are you going to bring the chains off of Jordan Love in week one, Armchair is saying? No, absolutely not. Baby
Okay,
playbook.
but what does that mean? All right, is he going to throw 45 times? No.
No.
But they also only have 2 guys that I even vaguely trust.
Okay, what would your over-under number be on pass attempts by Jordan Love in
32
week 1?
and a half.
I would go aggressively under.
Do you know how many times last year a team threw less than 30 times in a game?
How many?
It was 12.
Okay.
Do you know how many times that team was the Baltimore Ravens?
How many?
It was 3 of them with Tyler Huntley, and there was another one. I can't remember who the other team. It happened like twice outside of 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it will be, I would say his floor is 28 and a half, and that's assuming they just beat the piss out of the Bears.
Right.
And that's not going to happen.
No. I wouldn't trust it. Definitely all the running backs for Green Bay are on my list here as potential top plays. I'm looking for another question here in the chat. Anthony Hurt wants to know, is Shane Steichen going to draw up a good plan for the Jaguars?
No. Jaguars are going to beat the sin out of Indianapolis. Right. The Jaguars are one of my favorite defenses of the day. I love Travis Etienne. If you don't play Calvin Ridley, you did it wrong. And just remember that I said that. I like Evan Ingram. There's really not a lot that I don't like for Jacksonville.
Calvin Ridley, play of the day. I'm still pissed off that you took that in the daily draft.
Well, you had the chance.
I did. I had the chance, but I didn't think that was going to be the number 1 play of the week for you. I thought for sure.
You should always look to the graphic to the fantasy show and see who's on it and understand that I'm going to be real high on whoever that is.
Is he the graphic for today's show? Okay, all right. I did not see that.
Oh, you haven't seen the graphic yet? Oh, let me throw it up there. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, there's
there
your graphic. Yeah, guess what? Liked him a whole mess.
All right. Are you still clicking buttons over there for Armchair? What does that say?
Asking Tank to do pre-work.
To do pre-work.
Cock.
What is that?
It looks like.
Did he say cock?
That's what it looked like it said.
Oh, he said. Oh, that's an LOL. He says.
Oh. This is. I'm really lost in how we cannot hear him.
Advance homework. Wait. Advance homework on what? Oh, he was talking about looking ahead at the graphic, and I should have known. I got you. Yeah, no, I didn't pay any attention to that Armchair, and I still apologize that you guys can't hear him. But we're efforting. Let's see here. Another one from Christopher says, my question is, I picked Everett because of Waller's injury, and they say Waller's supposed to play now, but the hamstring scares me.
I like Gerald Everett a lot.
So
I'll be honest with you, if I had to decide between Gerald Everett and Darren Waller, I'd take Gerald Everett. There's no risk there, and that's one of the highest scoring games of the day. Okay.
The Chargers will still find a way to get him involved.
Yes.
In the game plan.
By the way, have you heard this report that the Colts wanted Christian Watson for Jonathan Taylor?
Okay.
Are they on recreational crimes?
Well, of course they are.
Armchair says he's going to go to the Discord since we can't figure out his audio. But we will have him figured out back in the studio this week.
Yes. So we apologize, Armchair. We appreciate you taking out the time for us. It's Brady Day for the New England Patriots.
We love
He'll be
Armchair.
repping, even though they're going to get their asses kicked by the Philadelphia Eagles.
We love you, Armchair.
We love you, brother. All right. Anyhow, continuing with your fantasy questions here at the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue. We're going to be hanging out this afternoon watching all of the games. Jeremy is always here until they close down the bar on Sunday nights.
Sounded like a judgment.
So it was not a judgment. It was just you need to show up early if you want to see this guy. You can show up anytime to see that guy.
It sounded like a judgment.
It's not a judgment. Not a judgment. Facts
I
don't
have
care
a
about your
tattoo
feelings.
on my collarbone that says only God can judge me. So.
All right, let's see. Let's answer one for Chris D here. Start 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Ramondre Stevenson, Miles Sanders, Khalil Herbert, Dalvin Cook, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore. You draft well, sir. DJ Moore.
Yes, and this is a lot of options.
Tyler
so
Lockett and Dotson. All right, so the starting running back for this team.
Who is this from?
This is from Chris D.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay, so the starting running back should be Ramondre Stevenson or Miles Sanders.
I will go Miles Sanders.
Wide receiver.
Very close over Dalvin Cook, though.
Okay, wide receiver has to be Calvin
DJ
Ridley
Moore.
and DJ Moore.
DJ Moore and Calvin Ridley. Yeah, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Miles Sanders.
All right, now the flex, do you go Ramondre Stevenson against the Eagles?
No.
Do you go Khalil Herbert against the Packers?
I go Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook against the Bills? Okay.
I've told you, the Jets are going to run the damn ball.
Or
A lot.
Tyler Lockett. Is that too much
Tyler
of a gamble?
Lockett's a good one.
Is Tyler
I like
too much of a
Tyler.
gamble? Because I am drunk on DK Metcalf this week. But it's also one of those things where I feel like
anybody but Kenny Walker for Seattle.
where I feel like I'm drunk on DK Metcalf, and that means Tyler Lockett's going to have one of his 170-yard, 2-touchdown games.
Well, that sounds about right. That's how that would usually work for you. Is that you're drunk on one and the other goes nanas.
100%.
I mean, I really like Kenny. Kenny Walker's one of my favorite running backs of the week. I mean,
Okay.
I think I had him at 6.
Okay. So in this scenario for Chris, on his flex, you're going Dalvin Cook?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I hate that we couldn't get Armchair up here for week 1, but he will be in the Discord doing all of the things.
Yes.
I love Armchair more than any person I've never met in my life. He's like my catfish girlfriend that I've actually video
Right.
chatted with.
Right. Who are we going with today from Kelvin Joyner? Waller, Jawan Johnson, or David Njoku? Waller. And,
Okay, I'm going to save I want this pinned to the top of something. If it's a tight end question, if Jawan Johnson is involved, it's whoever else you just asked me.
Really?
I can't play that anymore. All right, I'll have an infarction like you, and you'll have to scoop me off the floor. And when I have my infarction, I'm not just going to get a little stent and be okay. Mine is going to be bad.
Okay.
Njoku
Why?
would be my answer.
Why do you hate Jawan Johnson
Because
so
he's
much?
just bootsy as all get out. You cannot trust him ever.
Okay.
He's like the.
But
I had 4 jugs there, and I'm legally not allowed to tell anyone.
It's that Tank Spencer thing of he could score 2 touchdowns in this game
He could.
because he's going to have 2 or 3 of those games, or 1 or 2 of those games all season long. But that's the only production he's going to get.
Oh, wait a minute. You
So
skipped,
I'm not going to play this roulette.
All right, so we don't have the button because I didn't plug that up because I'm a moron. Chris Hubbard
Yes.
into the House
Welcome.
of Reprehensibles.
Welcome in.
So welcome to you. And you skipped a question from Holt.
Oh, I'm sure
Or
I
not from
did.
Holt, from
I'm sure I
Steve's house.
skipped a lot of questions because you know how I am with trying
Yes.
to run the chat.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find the question. I can't find the question he asked.
Well, good job.
Oh, there we go. Lockett, Kirk, Scary Terry, Mingo, bench 1. I know my answer.
By the way,
It's
if we
close.
skip one of your questions,
Ask it again,
just put it in there again.
and we'll see.
Just put it in again. Don't say, hey, you missed my question. Well, I'm never going to find it. Sorry.
We did find it, though. I found it.
You found it. That's what I'm saying. I'm never going to find it.
Do you have an answer on Lockett, Kirk, McLaurin, Mingo? Bench 1.
Lockett, Kirk, McLaurin, Mingo. I'm benching Mingo.
I'm not. I'm benching Christian Kirk. It's not even close.
Why?
It's not even close.
Why?
Where does he fall in that pecking order right now? 3rd
Second.
at best. He's behind Ingram. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Okay.
With Dougie P, he falls 3rd in line at best, and I think Etienne's actually ahead of him.
Interesting. Well, he was 1 last year, so he immediately went to 3 after Ingram and
He was
Ridley.
one as an outside receiver. Think back to when Doug Peterson was in Philadelphia. How many times did 2 receivers go off in the same week?
I have no idea.
If there was one, I don't remember.
Okay.
Now, he only had one really good receiver. I mean, I think Kirk will be fine. I just think he has a really low floor. So
See, I do the same thing with them that I do with Seattle. Of everybody's going to get something, and one of them's going to pop. And I think in that, I'm not going to take my chances on Jonathan Mingo in his first start with Bryce Young throwing him the ball against. Who's going to be covering him? A.J. Terrell?
Terrell probably is on Adam Thielen.
If he plays.
He's going to play.
Is he? Okay. Last I heard, he was questionable.
He was questionable, but he was expected to play.
Okay.
We should have inactives, so you fire some more questions at me, and I will pull up the inactives list.
All right. Let's see here. Let's go down. We did the Juwan Johnson thing. You hate him. You'll never play him. Bury him somewhere.
I didn't say that. I said I don't like him this week.
So if Darren Waller, if you don't want to ride the Lightning with Darren Waller, then play David Njoku.
I like Njoku a lot. No Cordero Patterson today for the Atlanta Falcons.
Colin
That's
Greene.
An interesting one that makes me like Bijan Robinson even more.
Colin Greene wants to know, in the flex, is it Brandon Ayuk, Michael Thomas, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, or Chris Godwin?
Say it again?
In the flex, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Thomas, JSN, or Chris Godwin?
Michael Thomas.
Okay. How close is it for you? Because
Not
to
really.
me, all of them are close.
Not really close.
Okay.
Look, people Michael Thomas and Deshaun Watson are the 2 players that people seem to be forgetting how good they were, and it wasn't that long ago.
I mean, it was that long ago. It was 3 years ago for Michael Thomas. So it's been that long.
He was also the best receiver in the league
Oh, absolutely.
at that time.
Absolutely. What has 3 years on the sideline or 2 years on the sideline done for him? I don't know that.
Probably not much.
Yeah, I don't know that that's going to look great coming out week 1. So, I mean, I would lean much more on Ayuk in that scenario.
Falls back on Brock Purdy. Do you trust him? Because I don't.
Yeah. JSN
Especially
is a
against
dart
Pittsburgh,
throw.
who I think is going to beat his brains out.
Right. JSN's a dart throw because he's the 3.
He's a rookie, and he's no better than the 4th option in that offense.
Exactly. And Chris Godwin, to me, he's going to have Baker
3
Mayfield.
words. Baker Mayfield. 4 words.
4
Baker
words.
Mayfield.
Count all of the syllables on
Too many
that one.
syllables there. Got that one wrong.
Let's see. Choose one.
I will say this. Indianapolis has no running backs other than Evan Hall and Deion Jackson.
Evan Hall, all the way. Let's go.
I would lean Deion Jackson, and I think he's a really good dart throw in DFS because if they're going to score a touchdown, I struggle to believe it's going to be anybody but him or Anthony Richardson.
I was going to say he can't be any more than, 4,000 on DraftKings? I would imagine he's got to be down.
Speaking of that, if you haven't signed up for Battle for the Belt yet,
Yes.
and you want in, now would be a great time because I'm having to manually send those. So we had like 7 of you this morning, and we appreciate you and we love you. But I can only do so many things at one time.
Yes.
I'm
Classic.
afraid somebody's going to try to sign up at like 12:54, and oops.
Oops. Missed it. Get those in now.
We got a super chat from Pitwinkle.
All right, I'm your Huckleberry. Go ahead.
It has way less effect when you just do it with your mouth.
That's what she said.
Should I start? Oh, you're the worst. Said, should I start Brees or Burks at flex? Chiggs is tight end. For me, it's Brees.
Brees.
Close.
Yeah, no.
That's top 20 play, top 50 play. At best.
Classic asked, choose one running back, full PPR, Cam Akers, DeAndre Swift, or James Cook. For me, it's Swift.
DeAndre Swift. Yeah, if it's Cam Akers and it's anybody but Tank, I would start him over Tank. It's close, but I would.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Khalil Herbert or A.J. Dillon for today?
Ooh, who asked that question?
You got this is from Justin Parton.
You're the first one that's made me look at my rankings all day.
Khalil Herbert against the Packers, or you got A.J. Dillon against the Bears? I would lean Khalil Herbert there, but let's let Jeremy go to his handy-dandy fantasy rankings.
It's Khalil Herbert. I feel pretty sure of it. Khalil Herbert. But it's close.
I was going to say, it's got to be close.
It's close. There were 4 spots in between them.
That's one of those games.
Cam Akers was forever away.
That's one of those games that I just think it's going to be tight. It's going to be a one-score game, and it is going to be just run the ball down your throats both ways.
Facts. Pitwinkle with another super chat. If you want to jump the line, you can always do that because I get this big blue ball on my screen that tells me one of you have done that. 3-team parlay for today. I will go Steelers money line, and then I'm safely going to take Seahawks minus the 5, Jaguars minus the 5.5. I'll take the 2 easiest ones of the day and bump it up with a money line that I feel really good about.
Okay.
I love Pittsburgh today.
In the flex.
Any idea where my drink went?
No, I have no clue.
I think I ate it. Stephen Towle said you hate him.
I hate who?
Yeah, him.
Why?
Because he apparently asked another question that you skipped. You're just.
Oh dear Lord.
You're by choice skipping him, and that's not nice.
No, it's not.
Moore, Lockett, Dotson, Olave, bench 1. I'm assuming that's DJ Moore. If it's DJ Moore, it's certainly not him. It's Lockett for me.
Lockett is your bench.
Yep.
Okay. Jekyll throwing in there. Mark Andrews officially out.
Yep, he's officially inactive.
For Colin Greene, flex question. Michael Pittman, Jordan Addison, Darnell Mooney.
Say that again?
Jordan Addison, Darnell Mooney, or Michael Pittman. That's a whole lot of you should draft better for me.
One question? Are you in a 43-team league?
I mean, I hope so.
Jordan Addison. It's close, but it's Jordan Addison.
And I would tend to agree. I'm actually kind of surprised that you went that way.
Pittman's been thrown to by me.
Well, I mean, Darnell Mooney, maybe he'd be the one that you would
terrible.
take. You would take the shot on. He gets a deep one at some point. Maybe, because I mean he is going to be the deep threat, right? Most of the time you're going to have DJ Moore. Going short.
And I'm not skipping all the other questions, but Khalil Commanders is a new name that I haven't seen before. We're like an AA meeting for sports. Welcome in. If you want to comment your drug of choice, feel free. Mine used to be Devontae Parker, and now it's David Njoku. Basically said the Commanders are going to beat the Cardinals by 1,000. I don't have a bell, but that's exactly right. Pitwinkle, you could add that to your parlay too, because that's the 3 easiest bets of the week. The only thing that would scare me, anytime I've ever said that, one of them hasn't paid off, and it's been by some weird miracle that it didn't.
Yeah. Chig Okonkwo has his name's been mentioned several times so far.
I want to do karate in the garage with him because I love him. And I am the tight end whisperer, so that should hold some.
But I mean, are we going to see that pop week 1?
Somebody has to catch passes, and there's. I mean, and I don't think it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he gets Marshawn Lattimore. I hate that matchup for him. So it's either Traylon Burks or it's Chig Okonkwo. It's just a question: which one do you believe in week 1? And it's Chig.
You got to go Chig. Pick up Isaiah Likely or play Kyle Pitts from DC Justice.
God, that's close. You know what? I'll go Isaiah Likely. I don't like. No.
I was going to say.
I'll go Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts is going to be the guy he throws to.
I do like Kyle Pitts this week. I don't like Drake London. I do like Kyle Pitts.
Freiermuth or Pitts for the tight end whisper from Joshua Penix.
Freiermuth. I love Freiermuth this week.
Josh Kelly over Breece Hall in week 1?
No.
Alex Najabi is doing crimes.
Well, I mean, it's Sunday.
You're allowed, I guess, in some parts of the country.
No, the reason he's asking that's because Saleh was really, really cagey about Breece Hall and how he was going to use him.
Okay.
Look, I'm not going to tell you who I talked to in that franchise, but I will tell you that I talked to someone in that franchise a lot, and they're not worried about him at all.
Mm-hmm. Here's another one.
Stephen Towle said super chats are just easier. 100% they are, because I'm the one that moderates those. Because I have a huge screen.
Yes.
And Tank has his little tiny computer over there.
That's right. Devontae Smith or Terry McLaurin this week?
Terry McLaurin.
How high is the ceiling for Sam Howell against the Arizona Cardinals?
I have a millionaire lineup with him in it. I do.
I did one as well. I mean, I had to do it. I had to throw in there the one cheap quarterback, or the cheapest quarterback that you could get this week at $4,900, I think, was what Sam Howell's price was. And I went, well, I mean, there is a chance that he finishes top 5, top 10.
Oh, I'm all over McLaurin. I'm all over everything for Washington today. Really, the only one I don't like is Curtis Samuel because I don't think they have to.
Okay.
I think you can just throw all over Arizona because it's the worst secondary in the NFL. Chris Hubbard says, before we went live, Josh Brooks asked which defense to start between the Jets and the Browns. For me, it's the Jets. It's not really all that close.
Yeah. I just don't.
Neither one's in a great matchup.
Yeah,
the Jets are a better team.
Yeah, but I don't feel like Cincinnati. When it comes down to that, who's got more ability to score you a touchdown or get you a turnover?
The Jets.
Exactly.
Because Josh Allen loves turning the ball over.
100%.
I also feel like I'm giving a deposition to Congress as talking into this microphone. So.
Well, I mean, you're the one that's doing you don't have to bend that far, do you?
Every time I've ever had a mic in front of me like this, I had to end my responses with "Your Honor."
Your Honor, she said she was 18. I feel like he's had to say that one too many times. Because once is one too many times. Favorite DFS
What are you, a cop?
super stack? What is a super stack?
Super stack's where you have more than two.
More than two. Okay, so you go Trevor Lawrence, Evan Ingram, Calvin Ridley.
That's my favorite one of the week. It's not the only one I have.
Right.
I have one with Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, and Gerald Everett, with Jalen Waddle on the other side.
Okay. Why not Keenan? Why Mike over Keenan? Because of the price? Matchup.
Miami, not great defending against deep balls. Much better in the slot because that's where Mr. Cahu plays.
Okay.
Other DFS super stacks I like this week. I like the Washington stack, which is real cheap. With I'm going to have a commander in every lineup that I do. I'm either going to stack Sam Howell with McLaurin or Dotson, or I'm going to have Brian Robinson because he is so cheap. Okay. If you don't have Brian Robinson in your DFS lineups this week, you did it wrong.
More than Mostert?
Mostert, Robinson, Kenny Walker is my running back stack in almost every lineup I have.
Okay. No Joe Mixon.
Cleveland, I think Mixon's going to be overowned because Cleveland did address that run defense a little bit.
Yeah. I still can't get away from Mixon.
Stephen Towle just sent me a millionaire lineup that looks exactly like mine.
Okay.
On the book of face. So, yes, I will tell you, I think you were asking for my opinion. It looks, you have 7 of the same 9 guys I do, so I'm pretty high on it.
Chauncey Major, D-Hop, Chris Olave, or Mike Williams?
Chris Olave.
I would agree. Najee or Mike Williams PPR from Odie. I don't know Odie. Is that a new one? Odie's been around? Okay, all right.
Tank controls a lot of the audio things. I see more of the chat, but Odie's an OG. He's been around for a while.
Okay.
He asked Najee. I'd take
Najee or Mike Williams PPRs.
I just like that Charger game better, so you know what? I'll go Mike Williams.
Yeah.
It's a higher scoring game.
I don't feel like, look, as much as I like Najee Harris to bounce back this year, it's not going to happen week 1, I don't think. I just don't see the improvements on that Pittsburgh offensive line being able to, open up a lot of holes against San Francisco. They did really well stopping the run last year, and they got Javon Hargrave now. I'm just not trusting Najee week 1.
I have no problem with Najee. I just like Mike Williams better. We have a super chat from Soaring Eagle. How high are you and James Conner in double PPR this season? I'm going to let you answer that first because I'm not realistic about James Conner.
What the hell's a double PPR?
Oh, it means you get 2 points per reception.
Well, that's insane.
I do that with tight ends. I'm in a tight end.
The tight end premium, yeah. I've just never heard of going 2 points per reception. That's
it's usually for running backs.
James Conner set it on fire for me.
I actually don't agree with you.
I don't know that there's going to be anything worth having.
I disagree with you. I think he's the top. I mean, he's not great, but if he's your second, I don't love it. Third running back, I'm much better with it. Third running back's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the Cardinals aren't going to have 114 yards every week. So somebody is going to do something. The other thing I will say is I've heard more chatter about James Conner being drafted than every other player in the NFL combined.
You mean traded?
Yes. Is that not what I said?
You said drafted.
Traded. Yes. Traded.
I was trying to figure that out in my head
somebody's
as well.
watching a soccer match over there that's really distracting.
It's not that kind of football Sunday,
no.
ladies and gentlemen.
But thank you, Soaring Eagle, for the super chat. And, I think you're fine with James Conner. I would like to have 2 running backs better than him, but you could certainly do worse.
Let's see. Alex wants to play a rookie wide receiver this week. Tank Dell, Jackson Smith and Jigba, or Jordan Addison.
Did you ask? He had a. All right, we'll answer that one, then we'll go back to his other question because I think he skipped it.
Okay.
I would play Tank Dell this week, honestly. And Jigba's the 3, and Addison. I just don't think that's going to be a high-flying game. I really don't.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd go Tank Dell.
Okay.
Somebody's going to catch passes for them, and most of them are awful.
All right, what was his next question?
DeAndre Swift or Roschon Johnson at the flex. For me, it's DeAndre Swift, and it's not really all that close.
I like it. Christian Kirk, this is from Glenn Hopper. Christian Kirk, Terry McLaurin, or Elijah Moore. Pick one for the flex. It's Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin, and I think it's a lot. I think it's by quite a sizable amount.
I would agree. You might just wait and see what the target share is going to look like in Jacksonville before you go with Christian Kirk. The hype has been so great about Calvin.
I really don't. Calvin's the one, no doubt. I think Christian Kirk at this point is closer to Zay Jones than he is to Calvin Ridley.
Here's a flex for a half PPR. Kirk or Brian Robinson? You're all over Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson.
So that's got to be the answer there.
Yes. Did we answer likely or Kirk? I feel like I answered that, but I don't remember.
I believe we did.
Yeah, for me it'd be Isaiah Likely. He's just safer. They're still going to throw to tight ends. He slides right into a very comfortable role, and he's very cheap on DraftKings.
Right. I don't know if this is a statement or a flex question or a quarterback start question. Danny Dimes over regression Dak.
That's from Holt Lex Park. I would play Dak today because I don't know what I'm getting out of that Giants secondary. I know what the Cowboys secondary is going to look like with Gilmore and Trayvon Diggs, and
right.
I don't trust Daniel Jones against it, even at home. So it would be Dak for me, but I understand why you asked the question.
Mm-hmm. I'm on the Dak side as well. With that, I already stated that I think C.D. Lamb's going to finish as a top 3 wide receiver this week. So,
yeah, I don't love
as crazy as that might sound. I know a lot of people are hot on Tony Pollard, but is that going to be through the running game? I like Tony
Pollard. I don't love him.
Is that going to be through the running game? Are we going to see the conservative Mike McCarthy come out the gate week 1, or will they mix it up more? That's the real question.
I mean, I think it'll be a balanced offense. I think there's going to be points. I took the over in that game. I like a lot of pieces of it. I would just say I would take Dak over Daniel Jones.
Yeah. If you are just joining us, get your fantasy questions into the chat. We are coming to you live from the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue. Come on down and hang out with us all day long. We're going to be here watching all of the games on here, giving you your last-minute fantasy tips for your lineups, DFS plays, all of that coming up we're going to lead you right up until kickoff at 1 o'clock. Going back to the chat here, Chris D says flex 1. Is this Antonio Gibson, our first Antonio Gibson sighting of the day?
Anybody but Antonio Gibson.
Okay, what if that person is Rashad White?
Nope, Rashad White.
Ooh. And
he is the number 1 running back for his team.
Jordan Addison is the other selection here.
I'd still take Rashad White, but it's much closer with Addison.
I'm gonna stick to. I'm not sure we can run the ball as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I don't think Rashad White is the answer to that.
He's not, but he's going to get carries this first week. That's what I'm looking for.
I think somebody else. I'm gonna go Antonio Gibson in this scenario.
Of course you are.
But they're playing the Cardinals, and it's not going to be all Brian Robinson.
75-25.
Really? Okay.
What is the one thing you cannot do playing for Eric Bieniemy? Fumble the football. He's done it all preseason long. If he scores you 4 points, I'll be shocked.
Really?
Literally shocked.
Okay.
And that better be in a PPR.
Alex Majabi has a flex question here. He wants to go George Pickens. It's a good start for me. Odell Beckham Jr. and Tajay Spears out. And
Deuce Vaughn.
Is that Deuce Vaughn or Keyshawn Vaughn?
Oh, well, Keyshawn Vaughn's not active. So.
Is he not? I have
he's
no
not
idea.
on the team.
I have no idea. It
No,
just
he
says Vaughn.
left.
Oh, nice.
He done RUNNOFT.
Yeah, we didn't need him anyway. We can
yeah,
suck
George
without
Pickens
you.
For me, and
Not
that's
close.
another one that's not really all that close.
Yeah, not close. Bill Booty Cheeks goes Chase Claypool or Elijah Moore today.
Elijah Moore. I don't trust Chase Claypool. I think he's going to be a really good decoy in that system, but I'm all over DJ Moore today.
Elijah Moore is one of the interesting ones for me because I don't know who's going to cover him.
Oh, Cam Taylor-Britt probably.
And I think I like that matchup.
You shouldn't.
Really?
I think Elijah can pop one. I think they're really going to try to get him the ball to prove why they went out and got him.
Right.
And this is a really good week to do it against a division rival. I like him a lot. But that's really more of an indictment on, for me, that's more of an indictment on Chase Claypool than it is me loving Elijah Moore. Let me ask you a fun question. Where does DJ Moore spend most of his time?
DJ Moore or Elijah Moore? We were talking about Elijah Moore.
I know. He asked about Chase Claypool. They play for the same team.
Oh, DJ Moore runs out of the slot, right?
Yep. With the Bears, he's going to run out of the slot even more than he has in the past.
Uh-huh.
How many snaps did Jair Alexander cover a slot player last year?
Yo, I have no idea.
23, the entire year.
Huh.
Which means DJ Moore is going to dodge Jair Alexander at least a part of this game, and that's plenty enough for me.
Okay.
That's the only bear I want, but I want a lot of that one bear.
So no Chase Claypool, and
No.
you're doing Elijah Moore by default in that scenario.
I mean, and I think both would be fine. I just think Elijah Moore has a much higher ceiling.
I would agree. Because again, I don't know who's gonna be covering him. Ayuk or Brian Robinson?
Brian Robinson.
It's always going to be Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson's going to be the answer practically anytime you ask me that, unless you've got somebody real good.
Right.
Soaring Eagle mentioned that he thought that Devontae Adams could end up with the Jaguars. I would say the Jets are more likely there, but that's because of his relationship with Aaron Rodgers.
Danny Fens says he's in a 20-team PPR.
That's a lot.
And he has a flex question of Jahan Dotson or Mike Williams.
In a 20-teamer, I can't imagine you could bench either one. I can't imagine how good your team would have to be. I would have to see the rest of your team to know, but both of them should be playing.
Right. J.K. Dobbins or Jamal Williams? Flex one of those.
I've been asked more questions about J.K. Dobbins so far today.
Who that dude and me?
Yes.
Is that new?
No, he's been around.
Okay.
I've never seen him before. He's a Saints fan. I believe he changed his name.
Okay.
I think it was something else, and now it's that.
Okay.
But he's been around. I'll say J.K. Dobbins. Not because I don't like Jamal Williams. I just think Titans Saints is going to be more of a slugfest.
Okay.
And, I mean, it's Dobbins against the Texans. I could easily see them leaning on the run game a little bit more than we expect because it is the Texans, and they're not good.
Okay. Let's go Chris D. Dotson over Cook and Lockett. Dalvin Cook or Tyler
I would
Lockett?
go Dalvin Cook over both of those. I think he's going to get the first crack as the real true one, and I would say you see 18 to 20 touches for him, somewhere in the neighborhood of 14 to 17 for Breece Hall.
Okay.
Yes, I do think they're going to run the ball that often with Aaron Rodgers.
How do we like Tank Bigsby this year? Odie wants to know.
If something happened to Travis Etienne, I would definitely want to have him because they don't trust anybody else.
I was going to say, is there standalone value there? Will they treat
week out standalone value?
Yeah.
No.
Will they treat him like, I don't
like
know, the
a legit
bruiser?
spell? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I would say he gets 6 to 8 touches a week, which is it's just not playable for me.
Right. But eventually
if
it
something
could.
happened to Etienne,
Absolutely.
then you're in business.
Okay. Common sense ain't common. Josh Jacobs versus Denver or Dobbins versus Houston?
I'm going to go Josh Jacobs just on sheer volume because they don't have anybody else they trust. I like Dobbins against Houston, but it's not enough for me.
Yeah.
He also asked Mingo or Garrett Wilson. It's Garrett Wilson 100 times out of 100. Start your studs.
Yeah, I was going to say that's an interesting. I mean, again, I guess this is going to the Tre'Davious White. Yeah.
And if you're an ESPN Plus subscriber, which you should be because we're company men, they have really bashed Garrett Wilson all week long that he's going to have a terrible week. So I understand why that question was asked.
Jonathan Mingo just seems like a.
Mingo's going to be
throw.
way better today than you think.
Okay. All right. Seems like a dart throw to me more than anything, but what do I know? Who are you taking at the second flex for Soaring Eagles team? Rashad Bateman, Michael Gallup, or Quentin Johnston?
It's not Bateman. I'm going to go Quentin Johnston just because I don't know what he is.
Okay.
I know pretty well what Gallup is.
Yep.
It's not enough for me.
And I was going to say his absolute ceiling is 10 points, maybe.
No, he can score a touchdown. He's touchdown dependent wide receiver 4. High end 4, low end 3.
More likely average of 8, though. I feel for
yeah.
Michael Gallup. I mean, because he's the third option.
Quentin Johnston,
at
they
best.
could try to pop one with him, and it wouldn't shock me in the least this week.
Yeah.
To try to come out and set a tone.
In the passing game, you could probably convince me that he's actually the 4th option behind Tony Pollard and Jake Ferguson or whatever tight end Dak is going to be in love with.
He's behind Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, and Tony Pollard.
Right.
So he's the 4, but you had the wrong one. Who that dude and me said number 1 rule, start your studs. When in doubt, refer to rule number 1.
Yes.
He's exactly right.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, while he's looking for another question, I just want to say thank you to all the people in the chat. Yesterday, we had our first video that did over 15,000 views in a day. That was a Colorado Buffalo betting pick. One day I'll figure out that algorithm. That day's not today.
Well, I mean that was the one that had to be a huge liability for Vegas.
Not as much as you think.
Really?
There's a lot more money on Nebraska than
that's odd.
My buddies that are in. I mean, they took a shot, no doubt.
Right.
But it wasn't as big a liability as I thought.
Right. I want to take this time to remind everybody on the chat that our daily show is moving to noon tomorrow. So normally you would hear us.
Because we got to put all this back in the studio. He's got to work on imaging, and well, let's be honest. I'm going to be a little worse for the wear.
Normally you would hear us on ESPN Asheville at 3 o'clock and, of course, the iHeartRadio app and right here on YouTube as well. But tomorrow we start our noon to 3 slot on ESPN Asheville and the iHeartRadio app. So just making that note and tell all of your friends as well that we are now on in a new time slot. Get in on the battle for the belt if you haven't already. We got the links in the description of the video here. They're also up at the sportsocracy.com. 2 different contests you can get in on, the Eliminator Challenge and the Standard Contest. We have professional-made championship belts. You've seen the belt here on the YouTube stream all season long. They're going to be available to the winners.
And I conspired with Matt Miller and a couple other friends of ours. We're going to leave the sign-ups open for an extra 4 weeks. it will. So your average score will be your best 10 weeks. We're trying to get as many people in that as humanly possible. So
absolutely, because it's all about raising money for our favorite charity, Eblen Charities and the St. Nicholas Project.
We had a bunch of you sign up this morning. The links are in the description of this video. Anybody that signs up, we will happily call you out. We're also going to let you take over our Facebook page for a day. Put up whatever it is that you would like to endorse.
All right, Calvin Beermaster Rogers.
It's a great name.
Yes. He wants to know about quarterbacks this week. Geno Smith, Derek Carr, or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson by many much.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that.
You taking over?
I mean, I get it. If he's on my team, I'm starting Deshaun Watson. But I could easily see a path where both of the others outscore him. If he's as cattywampus,
which is not going to be.
We don't know that. You don't know that. They could come out and just look off kilter against the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right,
Geno Smith will light it up.
I'm going to ask you two questions.
Yep.
And you tell me where I'm wrong.
Okay.
How many points do the Saints and the Titans score combined? Highest of high side.
I don't know. I'd go 40.
The over-under is 41.
Something.
So
Yeah.
you got a quarterback that's going to be hammering the under from what he just said in Derek Carr. Geno Smith, how long are the Rams within 3 scores?
A quarter, maybe.
What happens when they're up by that much?
Quarter and a half.
What happens when they get up that much?
They go into the backup.
No, they're going to the running game. That's why I love Kenny Walker. Geno Smith has probably scored 2 touchdowns the first quarter.
Right.
First quarter and a half. And then you're going to see Kenny Walker run the ball a lot. So for me, it's Deshaun Watson.
By minis. By much mini moosing. Mordenheim 1.
That's a new one.
Says he needs 2.5 PPR. Damian Pierce, Jahan Dotson, Rashad White, and Khalil Herbert. 2.5 PPR. You got to go Dotson and Pierce, I would say.
I will go Dotson, Khalil Herbert.
Dotson, Khalil Herbert. Okay.
I don't like Damian Pierce against the Ravens. That's just a horrible matchup.
But I keep going back to
Especially
somebody's
with a
going to get
quarterback.
something, right? Somebody for that team's going to get the yards. Somebody will score possibly
No, they have too
for
many
that
options.
team. Who?
You're going back to what I said about Green Bay. When I said Jaden Reed, Luke Musgrave, somebody there has to score. Can you name me another receiver on that team?
For Green Bay?
Yes.
No.
There you go. How many can you name for Houston? Because Mechie's not going to play, but you've got Tank Dell. You've still got your boy, Nico Collins.
Right.
They paid
Puka. You got Puka Nakua and the.
That's the Rams.
Oh, that's the Rams.
What's that? Dalton Schultz. You got a lot of options. So you could have 7 guys score 6 points for the Texans. It would shock me the least. I would say Damian Pierce could be the high side of that. The reason I said that about Green Bay is because you get to Dontavian Wicks and Samari Torre real fast.
quick.
And I like them both long term. I just don't like them much today.
Okay. All right. So.
It's that 3-dimensional chess thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Jamal or Javante? Half flex PPR.
Boy, I'm going to assume it's Jamal Williams or Javante Williams.
Yes.
I'll go Jamal Williams. Until I see Javante, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I've heard
I'm in the
too
same
many
boat.
things about how that surgery didn't go well. He didn't rehab well.
His recovery.
He didn't recover well.
Yeah.
Until I see him, I don't trust it.
And I would play him with kid gloves.
Oh, yeah.
And because I've got Samaje Perine.
Yes, that's the other thing that scares me is it could be Piron's team. And I shouldn't say Piron's team. It could be Piron getting 50% of the workload for the first 8 weeks of the year.
Yes.
So until I see what that is, I'm good.
Zay Flowers or Mike Evans from Notorious B.I.G.?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans.
And I don't know that it's all that close.
Yeah.
I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah. For me, it's Mike Evans. I get that Baltimore's got the nice matchup, but I'm going Mike Evans because
that's the nicer matchup. The Vikings have the worst secondary in the NFL.
Exactly.
That's one of
Even
my
Baker
favorite
Mayfield
upset
can get
picks
the
of
ball.
week is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat Minnesota. Because that's exactly what Todd Bowles does.
It's the last thing I want to do. start
Todd
the season.
Bowles loves beating teams when you don't want him to.
With a win.
He wins when you want him to lose, and he loses when you want him to win.
Eric Bradley wants to know, are we doing pick'ems this week?
I did not get that up in time. There was a kerfuffle in that, so we're going to start that week 2. There was a logistical headache with Facebook. They shut me down for about 4 hours, and I had to go down the Facebook rabbit hole yesterday. Apparently, they don't understand that free pick'em is not gambling.
Yeah. Pissed Off Browns fan wants to know, or he wants you to know homerism here, Jeremy. Aaron Jones or Breece Hall?
Aaron Jones, not close.
Yes. Agreed there. Whoever defense versus Arizona this year, Kelvin Joyner says he's got Washington today. So, that's just going to be the cheat code every week.
Seattle's my favorite defense this week, but I'm a big fan of Washington as well.
Stone Sports Podcast says can't wait for the noon shows that start tomorrow. So he'll actually be able to catch more of the live. So good on you, and we can't wait to see you there as well.
You'll be able to find all of our things much easier too, because now instead of being done at 6 o'clock and trying to cut videos until I go night, now we're done at 3. The podcast goes up immediately, and then I can bid out all of the things before my lovely wife gets home, and I can spend time with her as opposed to cutting videos all my life.
Yep. Here's another from Colin Greene: Darren Waller, Chiga Okonkwo, or David Njoku.
Oh,
I'm rolling with Darren Waller at this point.
I think you're fine with any of the 3. They're all 3 top 10 plays for me this week. Waller's the one of those to me that can throw you a 0, because he pulls up lane 5 plays in, and then I'm going Njoku. I'm going Njoku, but it's close.
Okay. He could.
I won't fault you for any of them.
And I hear what you're saying about Darren Waller, but I also feel like he's the only one of that group that can finish as the 1.
I don't.
You can
This
see.
week? This week with
Which
no Mark
one?
Andrews, no Waller in that scenario, and no Travis Kelce, I could see all 3 of those guys finishing as 1.
Okay. All right.
I mean, T.J. Hawkinson's the only guy. He would be the chalk, and I don't. How much do you like him today?
Who?
T.J. Hawkinson against your terrible Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I like him a lot. We don't defend tight ends well at all. We're one of the worst in the league at doing that last year. And how did that defense get better?
Oh, it didn't.
It didn't. It didn't.
Minnesota also didn't get better either.
Well, but they're still fine offensively. They're still threatening offensively.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
With Hawkinson and Jefferson, that's all they have.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not overly wild about Hawkinson today.
Okay.
I mean, he's fine. If you've got him, you're playing him. I've had a lot of people ask me if that's the shade in DFS, and I don't think so, but
Dustin Waltman says he wants to know whose jersey you're wearing. That is the Jeremy Greene jersey.
My own, because I got tired of buying jerseys and us trading the player. I've got I've got a Sam Darnold, Mark Sanchez, Brett Favre, Santana Moss, Lavernius Coles, Muhammad Wilkerson. I'm trying to think of all the jerseys I have of guys we either traded or just outright cut.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So I finally went, you know what, my name, let's go. Because I'll be here till I die.
Divine Comedy, we are in the Eastern time zone. We are coming to you live from the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue in Asheville, North Carolina. Or I guess, is this Asheville or is it Woodfin?
This is Asheville.
Okay, it is Asheville.
So Divine Comedy, who I believe is on the West Coast, you'll be 9 a.m. I had a lot of people on the West Coast say this is going to be great because I can sit down in my office and then you're the morning
just
show.
there.
So instead of some of the other shows, we also get a Dan Patrick lead-in, which I'm a big, and Greene, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah. Next fantasy question here in the chat. Well, Divine Comedy is saying that as a Seahawks fan, telling me that you should not start Geno Smith today.
I wouldn't start Geno this week if I had another option.
He says that's the one team they never light up, is the saying, is the Rams.
Today. I don't think people have seen how bad that front for the Rams is. I mean, there were holes with their backups that I think we could have driven everybody in this bar through.
Yeah, especially with no offensive pressure from LA.
Yes.
Because It's Van Jefferson is the best offensive player outside of Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I don't like anything for the Rams today. I think Seattle's going to blow them out.
Dobbins or Pierce or Gervonta from Dustin Waltman.
In that scenario, I would probably go Dobbins, but it's very close with Pierce.
Okay. Let's see. Cole Kmet, what do you feel about him today? And do you like him better? Do you like him better than David Njoku against Cincinnati?
I like Kmet and Njoku are close to me.
That one from Nathaniel McQuirt.
All right, I gotta have a loan treat, and I'm gonna help Nate fix that television right there.
Okay, good deal.
I'll be right back.
Cool. See if you can find me some water while you're while you're gone here. Stephen Towle says his day starts at 6 a.m. Jonas Knox to Dan Patrick to Sportsocracy. That's going to be a solid day, and yeah, I will tend to agree that that will be a solid day for all of us. Eat and Sleep Football says, would he be drunk to put Deion Jackson instead of Najee Harris? Nick Chubb is the RB1. That's a yes from me, but we'll ask him when he gets back. I don't know. I'm on like, I don't know. I'm zero Colt at this point. I don't like anything for the Indianapolis Colts at all. Eric Bradley, Sanders, or Walker. He'll go Walker in that scenario, I feel like. Miles Sanders is he's gonna get his. Sam Howell or Baker Mayfield, who has the better day? It's not close, and it's Sam Howell. Baker Mayfield, I still feel like is absolutely terrible. There's that part of me that goes, maybe he'll be efficient enough to get some to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I just don't think he can stretch the field. We haven't seen that from him. The one who stretched the field the most in the preseason for Tampa was Kyle Trask. So that makes me think Baker, if he's going to keep things shorter, that plays into Chris Godwin more. One of those two could go off, but I think you're going to be playing roulette each and every week of which one it's going to be. Is Mike Evans going to catch a touchdown or two? How many stat lines does he throw up like he did against New Orleans that one time where he had 3 catches for 7 yards and 2 touchdowns? I could very well see a stat line like that coming for him with Baker Mayfield. I don't know how you're going to move the ball down that far into enemy territory with Baker, but I would stay away from all of it. It's Sam Howell, and it's not close for me because there's a chance that Washington beats Arizona so vigorously that you see Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson do wonderful things. Maybe even a touchdown pass to Antonio Gibson or Brian Robinson won. So Sam Howell could very well end up having tier 1 type or QB1 type finish this week. And that's not in the cards for Baker Mayfield. Baker still has support. I agree. But I think I don't know. To me, you're doubting the other weapons that the Commanders have too much in that scenario. Mostert or Lockett from Dustin Waltman, and Fields or Wilson. So Wilson. Russell Wilson? That's Justin Fields. Mostert or Lockett? I would lean Lockett in that scenario, but Mostert's going to be the one to run the ball for Miami, and I don't think they're going to completely abandon the run because that's kind of part of what they do. So there's a lot of opportunity for both of those guys, but I'll go Mostert, I guess. Oh. Welcome back.
Sorry about that. I'd gotten about 413 text messages that I had to respond to.
Indeed.
A couple of you signed up for the Battle for the Belt. We still got spots. You got 39 minutes. I can still get you in.
Any chance you found me some liquid to ingest? No? Okay. All right. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're going.
It's distracted.
It's all good. I'll just...
I have another monster if you'd like it.
Yes, I would. Absolutely. Yeah, see, he's the man. He's the man.
I'm prepared. And as soon as this camera goes off, I'm switching to a very different kind of liquid.
All right, let's see here. Some questions that I answered, and you can tell me if I'm crazy, which you're the best at. Sanders or Walker in DFS? You're going Kenny Walker, right?
Yes.
Okay, I had that one right. They asked me Sam Howell or Baker Mayfield, who has the better day.
Sam Howell.
I went on a long stretch about how Baker Mayfield's terrible. Justin Fields or Russell Wilson? That's Justin Fields.
Although I do like Russell Wilson today.
Mostert or Lockett?
Mostert. Mostert's one of my favorite running backs of the day. I have him in every DFS lineup.
That is sweet.
Yeah.
That's
wonderful.
That needs alcohol to cut that sweetness.
No.
Holy cow.
I mean, it's wonderful that way, too.
Yes. Akers or Miles Sanders?
Miles Sanders by a lot.
By miles. Get to see.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Did
see? Miles, not Akers. Stone Sports Podcast says he loves Sanders this week, as do I. What game do you see most likely to be a blowout?
Today?
Washington, Arizona?
Washington is going to boat race Arizona.
I still feel like Seattle, LA.
Seattle's going to boat race LA. I don't think Baltimore's going to boat race Houston, but they will cover and it will be comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And I keep looking at Philadelphia and New England.
I don't. That will not be a blowout.
You don't think so?
I've actually been rattling around in my brain, is there a chance New England covers? I don't think they do, but there is a chance.
And then there's Minnesota and Tampa Bay.
I
don't see how we're going to stop them.
I'll take Tampa Bay to win.
I still just don't see how we're going to stop them. But
a lot of the money is with me, too, by the way.
Which is crazy. Because I give them the advantage in just about everything. I mean, I get defense. I get the defense.
Baker Mayfield has historically killed bad defenses. That is why people have been duped by him for years, is because when you get these really bad teams, he can just shellac them.
Right.
And this is a bad team. Oh, Soaring Eagle with a IDP question.
Look at that.
We hadn't had one of those in a minute.
Quincy Williams or Shaq Barrett at linebacker 3?
Quincy Williams. He's a tackle monster. Especially now that you got Jamie and Sherwood as the other linebacker. They play two a lot.
Right.
Mosley takes some of his upside away, but when I saw the Jets in Spartanburg, they were sending Quincy Williams on blitzes a lot.
Is there a scoring system that gives you, I don't know, 10 points for a sack? Because that would be the only way that I would consider Shaq.
I still wouldn't like Shaq.
And it's a
Minnesota
roll of the dice.
offensive line.
I was going to say it's a roll of the dice even at that point.
I like that Minnesota offensive line a lot.
So unless there's crazy opportunity for massive points with a sack, I'd go Quincy Williams as well.
I just realized we hemmed up here in like the best spot humanly possible.
What do you mean?
Well, you can see every television.
Oh, yeah,
I hadn't realized that
even
until
realized
just now.
that. Yeah. Not bad. 51 North Merriman Avenue. That is the football home of the Sportsocracy all season long. We're hanging out here every Sunday watching the games. And, yes, it is in the Reynolds Village development up here in North Asheville. Not necessarily Woodfin, but it is kind of in Woodfin, right? It's technically it's in the city.
I mean, I live here, and I don't know where Woodfin stops and Asheville starts. But, I know it's up here somewhere.
Yeah, 51 North Merriman Avenue, the Village Porch, all season long. You can hang out with us and watch the games and watch Jeremy make an ass of himself. That's the more important thing.
Not today, because the Jets aren't playing.
When the games get really tight, and Jeremy's had a few, it gets fun around here.
I will tell you exactly what HWA says about that all the time. He never yells at anything but football. I'm going to give him that one.
Jamal Williams, Terry McLaurin, or D-Hop in the flex from Rob Johnson.
Terry McLaurin.
And it's
By the
not
way,
close.
Adam Thielen is up today.
Adam Thielen will be playing today.
He is up today.
All right.
No John Mechie, no Jimmy Ward for the Texans. Oh, yikes.
Yeah, boy, that's not going to go well. Houston is not good. And that's missing their best defensive player.
Well, second best defensive player.
Right. Gibson or Pierce? Here's a few from Dustin, just quick fires. Gibson or Pierce?
Is it Antonio Gibson
Yes.
or Damian Pierce?
Yes.
Damian Pierce, by a lot.
Mostert or Sanders?
Mostert, by less, but still pretty comfortable.
Likely or Schultz at
Likely.
tight end?
I like Isaiah Likely a lot today.
All right. Most impactful injury designations this week. You've got the list here pulled up.
I do. I'm not seeing anything that's really moving me that I didn't already know. I mean, Zach Moss, that means you've only got Evan Hull. You've only got Deion Jackson. That's the only two. So that makes both of them pretty safe.
Yep.
Evan Hull, it had to be a real deep league, but I think Deion Jackson's startable in 12-teamers. He's been good when given the opportunity. And Jackson, I don't think Jacksonville's defense is phenomenal. It's good.
Right.
So he could make some hay, especially with Anthony Richardson. There's a lot of ways for running backs to get over on a defense with a really mobile quarterback like that.
Okay.
Other than that, there's not really anything that's moving me. I'm shocked about Cordero Patterson. They made such a big deal about him being the joker.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he's just not up.
Well, I mean, you also got to think, do you really need it to start week one? Is that an absolute necessity? Taking on?
No, but I mean, he's not hurt. To what I understand, he's not hurt. He's a healthy scratch, which is odd.
Well, I mean, we're saving his legs, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what the thought could be behind that.
Danny Finn's fans asking us about his 20-team PPR team. Yeah, that's solid. For a 20-teamer? Oh, I see what he's asking me now about Jahan or Mike Williams. I see why he's in that because you only start two receivers. And his two receivers are Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's already played, and DJ Moore, who you're not going to sit.
Right.
Now I understand why he was asking that question. I would still go Mike Williams. But you draft well. One thing that would make me nervous is Sam Howell's your quarterback. And in a 20-teamer, it really makes having a quarterback a big deal. But Sam Howell's a great dart throw. If you had to throw a dart, that's a great dart.
Right.
Kelvin Joyner asked, is Gesicki viable today? I would say no. And he asked, who else is there to throw to? No one. Because I don't trust Mac Jones to do anything.
I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, that's the only one that I will consider, or I have considered, when faced with the question of should I take a New England Patriot? Juju's the only one I could come to.
And I don't even want him.
I mean, as far as pass catchers.
His name makes me – I'll never play Juju Smith-Schuster again. After that med report came out, I can't do it.
What med report?
That his knee is a ticking time bomb and could explode at any minute.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it came out last week. Somebody that had seen his chart said his knee was, quote, a mess and could blow out at any time.
Jesus.
Sarah Riley asked us, half-point PPR, need two, Rashad White, James Cook, Javonte Williams, Cortland Sutton, Brandon Ayuk. I don't trust Javonte until I see him. I will go James Cook and Brandon Ayuk. Although Rachaad White's close. I just think James Cook's going to give the Jets some – he's going to be a headache for the Jets. They don't deal well with running backs that get to the outside. Although this is the first time we're seeing that defensive line, which it's real, real good.
Yeah. I just don't know that I'm ready to go with the James Cook thing just yet. I would probably take the dice roll on Javonte.
I can't.
Because I think he's still going to get workload.
I don't know. Who gets more, James Cook or Javonte Williams?
It's probably James. It's probably James Cook.
They are
but who got the better defense?
Javonte Williams. Do I know?
I said, but who got the better defense?
Oh, no doubt. I mean,
right.
The thing about James Cook is I think he's going to catch some passes, which the Jets are vulnerable against because the linebackers are not crazy fast.
Okay.
Quincy Williams is, but he plays a little out of control sometimes.
Right.
So that's the reason I would lean that way.
Dustin Waltman with another one, White or Mostert.
Mostert by a lot.
Yeah, it's not close. Yes, Joe Burrow is playing today, Notorious B.I.G.
Yes.
Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, or Rashid Shaheed at your flex
Hopkins.
From Scott Gunther.
Hopkins, but it's close with Hollywood. If I trusted Josh Dobbs at all, it would be Hollywood, but I don't.
Rashid Shaheed is one of those that I've seen a lot of people mention as many times as we saw last year or felt like we saw last year, he got the touchdown looks. Right, he broke one in that Saints offense.
That's going to hit in weeks that you don't expect it to.
That's what I'm thinking, especially when you start out the season with Chris Olave and Mike Thomas is healthy and
that's
as much as you hate him, Juwan Johnson I feel like is a part of that plan.
He's a red zone guy.
Right. I just don't know where Rashid Shaheed falls in right now.
I just like Shaheed better if there's no Michael Thomas. I actually really would like him better if there was no Chris Olave. And it was Michael Thomas and him.
Rashid Shaheed's one of those that I drafted late to stash for later.
Yes, because there's a great chance that he's going to get a shot at some point.
100%, because I don't know how much.
I just don't think it's yet.
Yeah, I don't know how much Michael Thomas is going to, I don't know how much security there is in Michael Thomas.
Stone Sports Podcast mentioned you sneaking your puffs of your little.
Oh yeah, my little nicotine vapey over here.
Your little douche float. I have one heart attack. Got quit smoking.
Yeah. I got to quit this next, and I'm not looking forward to it. Nobody tell my wife. I'm supposed to be doing that less and less. Herbert or Connor? It's Herbert. Khalil Herbert or James Conner is never a question for me, or never going to be a question for me. James Conner is just one of those you have completely soured me on that I don't care.
Which is funny because now I'm not soured on him because they don't have anybody else. It's Keontae Ingram, who's awful. Awful.
Yeah. How long will it be before James Conner is gone, though? That's also a great question.
Well, you run that risk.
Right.
You do run that risk.
Okay. All right. Danny Fence-Fan says he's got Rashid Shaheed on the bench in that 20-teamer. Hell yeah. That's a great plan. 2-1, Robinson over 70.5 rushing yards, free money.
I think it's free money.
That's from Gage Camplin.
I do. I think it's free money.
And Scott Gunther also wants to know Michael Pittman or Mike Wallace? Or Mike Wallace. Mike Williams. Not Mike Wallace. It's not that guy.
And I don't care if you're talking about the 60 Minutes anchor or the formerly god-awful Minnesota Viking Pittsburgh Steeler. I don't know where that came from.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I watched a movie with Morgan Freeman in it last night. I can't stop doing it.
Uh-oh.
That was the last time. Man that climbed through a mile of filth.
I would take.
Came out clean on the other side. Mike Williams by quite a bit.
Mike Williams, absolutely. We talked about that game earlier as that is the super stack of the day. The Los Angeles Chargers. One of them anyway. The Jacksonville Jaguars against the Indianapolis Colts. You want every piece of that offense for the Jaguars. Because they could score 47 points. And it could be the opener to the Trevor Lawrence MVP discussions. I have seen all of the prognostications and all of the lists of who's on your short list for MVP this year, and Trevor Lawrence seems to be a very popular one of those.
Short list for MVP?
Yeah.
I don't hate that. It's not the one I'm going with. I feel like this is Joe Burrow's year.
Right. Getting those final moves in on your fantasy teams. Get your questions into the chat. This is the Sportsocracy, and we are live at 51 North Merriman Avenue. The Village Porch, which is the official football home of the Sportsocracy all season long. Some of the best burgers in Asheville. They've got all the libations that you need.
Yeah, it's almost time for me to switch to a different kind of liquid instead of this here lovely monster. She's getting thin. Rob Johnson just got in the battle for the belt.
Excellent.
We could still do that. You got 23 minutes to get in for this week. We are dropping the lowest 4 scores. So you basically have a month to get in and still have a shot to be averaged in.
There you go. And again, the battle for the belt going, the proceeds going to Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project, providing Christmas gifts for needy families to put under the tree for the kids around Christmas. They helped over 2,000 families in our area be able to do that last year. I believe it was over 3,600 kids as well that benefited from that. So we want to do our best to support them and give them as much as possible. We were able to surprise them with a check last year, and we want to do the same and raise some eyebrows with this year's battle for the belt. So you got the 2 contests to get in on, the standard and the eliminator challenge.
Poor armchair. He said, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Aww.
He got benched by the tech, which is still mind-boggling. I can't figure out how you could hear him, but we couldn't.
I don't know.
Because the feed going through your headset's the feed that's feeding my...
Exactly. It's going to your computer, so I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
I'm one of the best tech guys you'll ever meet in your life, and that one's even confusing me. What's up, Mr. Pfeiffer?
He's got the Dolphins on. Yeah, he's full in on the Tua love this year.
Here.
He's
the best looking of the 3 of us doesn't want to be on camera.
He's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. If I looked like you, I probably wouldn't have clothes, but nah, it's fine. You don't want to be on camera because of the 2 of us.
Yes, indeed. If you come on down to the Village Porch, you need to try the club sandwich. It's very filling.
I love it.
The club sandwich, very filling. Worth every cent
the club
that you will
sandwich
spend.
is fantastic.
Chicken, lettuce, under bacon. We learned that during the draft. That's apparently what club sandwich stands for. Did you know that?
I did not know
I did. It was news to me. I know you didn't remember it because you didn't remember much about that.
You know
night.
what I did remember?
And you remembered throwing out your shoulder because you hate Jordan Travis, or at least did in the first half.
I didn't last night. It's always a good sign when your starting quarterback plays one drive in the second half and then he puts on a baseball hat. Like, okay, and we're done. Because they won 66-2.
Against Northwest Poughkeepsie State. Congratulations.
Southern Miss.
Yeah, like I said.
That's a Sun Belt team. Let's go.
They're bad, though.
I didn't say they weren't. They also averaged less than a yard a carry, which is hard to do.
Yeah, not great. Not great. I was pissed when the Georgia Bulldogs had given up 22 yards of offense at halftime. It's too much. Too much against
Clemson
Ball
gave
State.
Up 23 yards at halftime, and they were only up by 4. Right. And then they didn't allow another point.
Oh, Clemson Tigers.
We got to do something nice for Armchair since we couldn't get him on the string. We're ordering new tech. See, here's the problem. A lot of people don't like paying us on time. Oh, did I say that out loud?
I think you did. I think you did.
After 90 days, I think I'm entitled.
Dustin says Hollywood, Sanders, or Olave in a flex. That's Chris Olave for me. It's close with Miles Sanders, but it's Chris Olave.
As well. It's Olave for me as well.
And Sanders is your two, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I'm really curious to see what that looks like. What are the Carolina Panthers going to look like under Bryce Young coming out of the gate? How much leash is going to be on Bryce Young? How conservative will Frank Reich keep it?
To start, I mean, this is a winnable game with Atlanta, so I don't think you can rein him in that much. You got to let him go today. Now, if it doesn't go well, you can rein him back in next week. But I think you got to let him be the quarterback.
Okay.
You got to let him be the guy. You got to let him be the guy you traded up to number one to go get.
Yep.
And I will be curious to see what that looks
like. Sanders or Olave?
Olave.
From Armchair?
That
was from the yeah. Olave is the pick. Danny Finn's fan he's hammered that 20-team league.
Yes. Yeah. That's a real good team for a 20-teamer.
Yeah, I don't feel like anybody's going to come close to you.
Dustin Waltman asked Panthers or Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons today.
Yeah, I am too.
The line scares me because it keeps buoying between. I'm going money line. I know it's a cop out, but I can see a path that Carolina keeps it to a point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have Atlanta against the number, but
yeah, I'm on Atlanta, but it's not going to shock me to see the Panthers win that one. Armchair's on the Panthers, so good for you. Good for you being able to feel confident in that, because I can't feel confident in the Panthers win.
They give us cool things, and I can't feel confident in it. So
exactly. Which I think are we going down to see the Vikings game? Is that what?
That's the game that there is a suite for. I can't tell you that I'm making that journey.
Yeah, I don't know. I know I've been invited to that game.
I have been invited to that game,
and I'm not sure it'll be worth it.
I may have to wash my hair.
The Adam Thielen revenge game. Does that really sell you?
Yeah, the Jets also play Kansas City that day, and I have a real good feeling I have to wash my hair that day.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not booked for anything this year because my team's terrible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, mine's not. And this year you're going to figure out just how much a Jets fan I am, because I'm present and accounted for the next 17 Sundays. Let's go.
Steelers or the 49ers today?
I've got the Steelers over the 49ers.
Yeah, as do I.
That's one of my favorite dogs of the week.
And the Raiders are the Broncos, and it's Broncos for me.
I have the Raiders against the number Broncos to win. I got the Broncos winning by field goal. I don't think the Broncos are very good. Doo-dah, doo-dah.
Yeah, I don't either. This is really going to tell me how bad are the Raiders. If the Raiders come out and lose by 2 scores to the Denver Broncos, you're terrible, awful, burn it to the ground, and fire Josh McDaniels now, because you're going to lose.
Than even you think.
I was going to say you'll win 1 or 2 games this year.
Taylor M. asked Saints or Titans. I'm on the Saints.
I'm on the Saints too, but I don't feel good about it. Because to me, this has Dennis Allen gets out-coached right off the rip. Just let you down in week 1. We've got all of these weapons, and we can't figure out how to handle the Tennessee Titans. I could very easily see that being – we talked earlier, you asked me what's the point total in that game, and I said 40. And I think I'm close, but I think it's easy.
Runner's 41.
But I think it could easily be 21-20, like we saw on Thursday Night Football. And the Tennessee Titans end up winning that game just because of, what is that? It's okay, Tank. We got John Burden.
I have no idea who that is.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean. John Burden. Are you talking about John Gruden?
John Gruden's probably.
John Gruden, who's, what is he, like a special advisor for that offense now?
Yes.
In New Orleans? Thank you for clearing that up. Yes, John Gruden. I don't know John Burden. Sounds like a really bad bar act. Stephen Tao says, hate all you want. The Broncos and the Raiders currently tied for first in the division. I guess facts. Facts
wrong.
don't care about your feelings.
He's not wrong. All right. Taylor, oh, wait, we got more.
Tony Pollard, 60 rushing yards and a touchdown, over under.
I'll go over.
I will as well.
Dustin Waltman asked if the Lions have lived up to the hype so far, but we're
Yes.
only 1 weekend.
Yes.
So you got a lot of time to let down there.
I'm not taking much away from them.
I'm not either.
The fact that Kelsey and Jones were not playing. T-minus 14 minutes until Sunday football, ladies and gentlemen. Get your lineups filled.
This is the earliest that I filled out my DraftKings lineups in my life.
Are you going to give us your banger lineup or no? Are you protecting
the banger
that?
Lineup? I'm not going to give you mine, but I will give you. I will do what I always do and give you a lineup of nothing but players that I'm not playing.
Give you the best of the ones
Although
Jeremy's
I've said
not
Calvin
putting.
Ridley so many times that I think I can throw him in this, and it's probably.
I was going to say, you've already told us your no doubt plays of the week are Kenneth Walker, Khalil Herbert. No, Raheem Mostert, and Calvin Ridley.
Let's see. Beep, beep, beep.
Just building the lineup on the fly. I like this.
T.J. Hawkins. I do this every week.
All right, T.J. Hawkinson, no doubt against the Tampa Bay defense because they suck at guarding tight ends.
Tight end because I want to have him somewhere, and I currently have him nowhere.
Yes.
And it bothers me a lot. Not because I think he's going to be great, but because every time I doubt him, that's the week that he goes nanners.
Right. Calvin Ridley, Michael Thomas, and Adam Thielen are the three wide receivers that he's locked in here.
These are all, other than Calvin Ridley, these are all guys that I'm not playing anywhere.
Brian Robinson?
Nope.
No.
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson, okay. Deion Jackson from Indianapolis. Somebody's going to get yards for them, and it's either going to be him or Evan Hull. Still doesn't have a quarterback, and he's going Trevor Lawrence.
I do have him somewhere, but there's just so few quarterbacks that I like this week.
We talked earlier the cheapest quarterback or the cheap top upside quarterback this week, Sam Howell.
All right, so the running backs are Bijan Robinson, Deion Jackson, Aaron Jones. Receivers are Ridley, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen. Tight ends, T.J. Hawkinson. Quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence. Defense is the Washington Commanders.
That's a hell of a lineup.
It's a cash lineup.
Yeah.
I think you can put that in any cash contest and feel pretty good that you're going to.
Right. As you might have heard, I don't know if the mics are picking it up here, but the speakers crank it up here for the football kickoff here at the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue. It is our football home all season long. You want to be able to hang out with us, buy us some drinks. You can come on down.
I'll be here all day.
I mean,
we got a few last
we'll be
minute
slots
questions.
for free drinks.
We got a few last minute questions here. Danny Finn's fan. Why do I feel like Tampa has a real shot for an upset? I agree with you wholeheartedly. Chris D asked Ramondre or Miles Sanders. I'll go Miles Sanders. You agree with that?
I agree, Miles Sanders.
Stephen Tao said, can we mention Bama losing to Texas? 100%. And that will be one of the openers tomorrow in the noon time slot, in our new time slot on ESPN Radio Asheville. I got that one super wrong. Got a lot of things super right.
That Alabama's going to roll.
That one super wrong. Yeah,
did not work out in their favor.
And you know what's funny? I didn't realize this until last night after a few libations. I actually wagered Texas the minute that line came out.
Nice.
Because I believed in Jalen Milroe that little. I got a notice last night that said, you won a something. And I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Texas.
nice little amount on Texas.
Good.
Let's see. Ingram for the Jags going to have a good day. I believe so. He's one of my favorite tight ends today.
Yes.
Malik, thoughts on it? And Waller with his injury. Should I go Knox or Jacoby Myers instead? Neither of those. I would roll with Waller, because I do think he's going to play.
Yep. Gage Camplin says he never got the link for the Battle of the Belt, so you need to fire that away to him. We got 9 minutes to kick off, which means last minute for you to change all of your things. Tinker with all those lineups, right? That's our number one rule. Always tinker.
No, you did that wrong.
Oh, it's never tinker. You should
Don't do that.
don't tinker with the lineup.
Gage, I'm sending you Battle for the Belt right now.
No last-minute inactives that we have seen.
Gage, send it to you on Discord in a private message.
Everything should be good to go, and we are cranking things up here at the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue. Again, the football home of the Sportsocracy all season long, just minutes away from kickoff of Week 1.
Indeed. Last question, eat and sleep. What's my surprise upset for today? Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Minnesota Vikings. I'm taking them to the money line. I think they went out right.
Nice. I'm going Tennessee Titans over the New Orleans Saints as my upset of the day.
Always a good day when you can play fantasy football. Week 1, make all the money. Let's go.
Join us tomorrow as we'll be back here on the YouTubes and on ESPN Asheville locally, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. And now at noon to 3, new time slot tomorrow. Enjoy the fantasy football throughout the day today, and we will see you then.